Hi, this is Sarah. In this lecture, we will discuss age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. We will explain the different types of AMD, as well as the pathological mechanisms that lead to these changes in the macula. The learning goals of the present course are to define age-related macular degeneration and to understand the risk factors associated with the development of AMD. Furthermore, we are going to study the classification and the pathophysiology of the disease. Age-related macular degeneration is a progressive degenerative disorder that affects the macula. It is characterized by distinct clinical features such as the presence of drusen and alterations in the retinal pigment epithelium. It is worth mentioning that AMD is the most common cause of irreversible visual loss in industrialized countries. Regarding the risk factors associated with AMD, age is the most predictive factor. It is a leading cause of vision loss in people over 50 years of age, while the presence of AMD-related fundus changes is quite rare before the age of 40. Furthermore, AMD is characterized by race predilection. Specifically, it is more common in white individuals compared to other races. While it is known that a family history of AMD increases almost 3 times the risk of developing the condition when a first-degree relative is affected, lifestyle and environmental factors play an important role as well. Current smoking is strongly associated with AMD development, probably due to the toxic effect of cigarettes on the retina. Increased exposure time to sunlight as well as a diet with high fats and obesity can also promote AMD changes. On the other hand, hypertension and other cardiovascular risk factors may lead to a further increase in the prevalence of AMD. AMD has been divided into 2 main types. The first type is called dry AMD or non-exudative or non-neovascular AMD, and it is the most common form, comprising 90% of diagnosed cases. It is characterized by slow progression, leading to geographic atrophy at advanced stages. The second less common type is called wet or exudative or neovascular AMD, and it is associated with more rapid progression to severe vision loss. Now, let's talk about the pathophysiology of dry AMD. It all starts with accumulation of drusen. Drusen are extracellular deposits that form between the RPE and Bruch's membrane. They consist of lipids, proteins, and cellular debris. Drusen development results from impaired clearance of waste products by the retinal pigment epithelium. As they accumulate, they interfere with nutrient and waste exchange between the retina and the choroid, contributing to progressive RPE dysfunction and photoreceptor damage. Then we reach the state of RPE dysfunction. The RPE is essential for maintaining retinal homeostasis, including the recycling of photoreceptor outer segments and transport of nutrients to the retina. In dry AMD, oxidative stress and inflammation lead to retinal pigment epithelium damage and dysfunction. Over time, retinal pigment epithelium cells, also known as RPE cells, die, leading to disruption of photoreceptor survival. Lastly, geographic atrophy is observed in advanced stages of dry AMD. It is characterized by progressive loss of RPE cells and atrophy of the overlying photoreceptors and choriocapillaris. Geographic atrophy results in significant vision loss, especially central vision, due to the absence of functional photoreceptors in the macula. In this slide, we can see the summary of changes during dry AMD, in chronological order. First, numerous intermediate large soft drusen are accumulated. Then, focal hypo and or hyperpigmentation of the RPE is observed, followed by enlargement of atrophic areas where larger choroidal vessels may become visible and pre-existing drusen may disappear. Visual acuity may be severely impaired at this stage, if there is foveal involvement. Drusenoid retinal pigmented epithelium detachment may occur. This slide depicts the course of dry AMD from the beginning of macular changes to the advanced stage of geographic atrophy. The disease starts with the presence of a few drusen, which increase in number over time. Afterwards, changes in the pigmentation are taking place and, in the end, geographic atrophy is observed. On the left down corner of your screen, you can see how drusen can be visualized on OCT. A few words about drusen. Drusen are extracellular deposits located at the interface between the RPE and Bruch membrane. They are composed of a variety of constituents, derived from immune-mediated and metabolic processes in the RPE. They may be seen in the fovea as well as in the peripheral and mid-peripheral fundus. What are the different types of drusen? Small drusen or hard drusen are typically well-defined white, yellow and measure less than or equal to 63 microns. Their presence without pigmentary abnormalities carries little risk of visual loss. Intermediate drusen are fairly well-defined yellow, white focal deposits at the level of the RPE measuring between 63 micrometers and 125 microns. Without accompanying pigmentary abnormalities, the risk of progression is low, but if pigmentary abnormalities are present, the risk increases to 10%. Large drusen or soft drusen are less well-delineated yellow, white deep retinal lesions measuring over 125 microns in diameter. As they enlarge and become more numerous, they may coalesce by giving a localized elevation of the RPE, called drusenoid RPE detachment. The presence of large drusen in both eyes is associated with a 13% risk of progression to late AMD over 5 years, but with accompanying bilateral pigmentary abnormalities this rises to about 50%. Take a moment to look at this image that shows how different types of drusen look on fundoscopy and OCT scan. Now, let's talk about retinal pigmented epithelial detachment. Pigment epithelial detachment from the inner collagenous layer of Bruch membrane is caused by disruption of the physiological forces maintaining adhesion. The basic mechanism is thought to be the reduction of hydraulic conductivity of a thickened and dysfunctional Bruch membrane, thus impeding movement of fluid from the RPE towards the choroid. Immune-mediated processes may also be important. There are 4 different types of PED. Serous PED is an orange dome-shaped elevation with sharply delineated edges, often with a paler margin of subretinal fluid. Fibrovascular PED is much more irregular in outline and elevation than serous PED. Drusenoid PED develops from confluent large soft drusen, and is often bilateral. Shallow elevated pale areas with irregular scalloped edges can be seen. And finally, hemorrhagic PED has underlying choroidal neovascularization or polypoidal choroidal vasculopathy. Let's go on with the pathophysiology of wet AMD. Oxidative stress, aging, and chronic inflammation cause damage to the RPE and the underlying Bruch's membrane. As RPE cells deteriorate, they fail to support photoreceptors adequately and maintain the barrier function of Bruch's membrane. This dysfunction leads to an increase in angiogenic factors and a breakdown of the blood-retinal barrier. Angiogenesis is driven primarily by the overproduction of vascular endothelial growth factor, also known as VEGF. VEGF is released in response to hypoxia and damage to the RPE and Bruch's membrane. New blood vessels sprout from the choroid and grow through defects in Bruch's membrane, extending into the sub-RPE or subretinal space. This process is termed choroidal neovascularization. Inflammatory cytokines and complement system activation contribute to the progression of the disease by exacerbating tissue damage and angiogenesis. The new blood vessels are immature and leaky, leading to exudation, which means leakage of fluid and plasma proteins into the subretinal and/or intraretinal space, causing retinal edema and detachment. Fragile vessels may rupture, leading to subretinal bleeding. Over time, persistent leakage and hemorrhage result in scarring and fibrosis, which can cause permanent central vision loss. The accumulation of fluid, exudates, and hemorrhage in the macula disrupts the normal architecture and function of the retina, leading to blurring or distortion of central vision called metamorphopsia, and the development of a central scotoma known as blind spot. In advanced stages, We have significant visual impairment due to fibrotic scarring. On this slide, you can find a few references for further reading. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this presentation on AMD classification and pathophysiology, and please don't forget to run the self-evaluation tests of the lecture.